Ah, you're finally awake. I was worried that last blow to the head was overkill. I admit, I got a bit heavy-handed with the crowbar. Adrenaline, you know. Too much, and before you know it, excessive, blunt force trauma. Better too much than too little, I suppose. Still, I am sorry for that ache. I know it's natural to be nervous, but you'll only hurt yourself if you struggle. You don't want that, do you? On our special day? I understand you're eager, but I promise there'll be time enough for rope burns on our honeymoon, dearest. I see from your eyes darting around that you've taken note of the venue. Do you like it? I decorated it myself. A few rose petals, some scented candles. It really brightens the place up. You'd hardly know it's a morgue. I admit, the remaining furnishings are rather drab, but that's a practical consideration. Not to worry though. I shined every inch of my equipment for the occasion. I do so love to see that steel sparkle. Is there anything so satisfying as the gleam of a freshly polished cranial saw? I think not. You can see your face in that gurney. Well, you could if you weren't strapped to it, that is. You look perplexed, my love. Now why on earth? Oh, of course, the music, silly me. It isn't a hallucination, I assure you. Though with a concussion like yours, I could see how you'd make that mistake. No, I made a mixtape. I considered hiring a band for the reception, but I thought this would be more intimate. Nothing is too good for you, my darling. You're crying? Oh, my poor soft-hearted sweetheart. You're so happy with my efforts you're overwhelmed. You can't possibly know how it feels to see you shed happy tears on my account. Do you hear that? Our song is ending. Oh, rapture, here it comes. The melody I specifically selected for this moment. Isn't it beautiful? Every note is perfect. Just like you. Don't look at me like that, dearest. I know you hate the mushy stuff, but I can hardly help being sentimental. I've fantasized about this moment for so long, ever since I was a little girl, and now it's finally here. My wedding day. Well, our wedding day, my love. You know, I've always believed in chasing my dreams, and braining them, and dragging them home. But in a way, I still can't believe this is really happening. I know you feel the same. Your shrieks of joy are a bit shrill, but I can't blame you for being excited. I know I am. What did you do to deserve this? Oh, my darling, everything. How could you ever question why you've earned my devotion? Perhaps you're fishing for compliments, Well, all right. I'll play along, since you obviously don't know what made me fall in love with you. I remember it like it was yesterday. Granted, it was yesterday. We met in the park. Do you remember? You must. Anyone could see you felt our undeniable chemistry. Why else would you refuse to meet my eye, if not to tame the sexual tension between us? There I was, on my favorite park bench, feeding the pigeons, as is my weekly ritual, while you picnicked with your friends nearby, coyly ignoring me. Before I knew it, a big, burly ruffian accosted me. I'll never forget the roaming hands, the vile, smutty sentiments expressed at top volume. But you stood, walked right up, at great risk of bodily harm to yourself, I might add, and frightened that boar off. Hey, she's with me. What do you think you're doing talking to my fiancé like that? You shouted, and the brute slunk off, tail between his legs. And then you chivalrously apologized for me for having to endure such slouchiness. How taken aback I was by your sudden declaration of love at first sight, and how pleasantly shocked to hear you had such honorable intentions. But I suppose that's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? The object of another's pining is often the last to know. You left the park before I could get your name. But no matter. Fate decreed we should see each other again, and a few hours later, when by random happenstance our gaze met through your bedroom window. Star-crossed lovers we were, like Romeo and Juliet. It was so romantic. Me gazing at you lovingly, and you pretending not to see me as to not arouse suspicion of our tryst. And as our relationship blossomed, the more we found in common. You sleep with headphones on, I sleep with headphones on, you eat breakfast, I eat breakfast. You stay home on the weekends, I stay in your home for the weekend. You love to have me slinking around the house to keep you company, don't you? Of course you do. I know we moved in together awfully quick, but how could I say no when you left a key under the mat for me? What a perfect match we are, my darling. So totally in sync. Oh, I nearly forgot. I'm sure you'd like to meet your wedding attendants. Here, let me just wheel you around so you can see them. Turn your head, dear. Ta-da! I know. I was such a naughty girl and listed them without telling you. But how could I leave your friends out of the wedding party? They witnessed our first meeting. Of course they should see us wed. So dapper in their Sunday best, aren't they? It was not easy to get them ready, let me tell you. They made quite a fuss about it all. You'd think they'd never been embalmed before. But I insisted. Perhaps that makes me something of a bridezilla. But I can't help it. Everything must be perfect down to the last detail. Oh, hush, hush, sweet darling. I know you'd love nothing more than to get up off that table and run away to elope. But we mustn't disappoint our guests. We have an obligation to at least say I do and make an appearance at the reception before we abscond on our honeymoon. The lingerie I plan to wear is to die for. Now, let's get you ready to walk down the aisle, shall we? I know it's customary for the wedding party to match, but I don't think embalming fluid suits you, my love. Besides, I know I hold your heart, so taking it out would be a mere formality. Instead, surprise! We've settled on cremation, just like you wanted. Oh, darling, no more tears. I know you're overcome with emotion at the gesture, but I promise it's no trouble at all. My love for you is so intense, my desire for you so burning. Turning you into ash is the only way for you to fully experience it. Now, don't you worry about being alone when you get all dolled up for the ceremony. I'll be right outside. Shh, shh, I know. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but I promise we won't be apart for long. We'll be reunited before you know it, and when you return, we'll be together forever. I'll keep a bit of you in a paperweight so you can keep me company at the office, and a bit of you in the diamond on my wedding band. Oh, a marvelous thought just occurred to me. I could get your name tattooed, using a bit of you in the ink, of course, so you could be with me always. Even in the shower. Where would you like to be on my body, dearest? Somewhere conventional, or perhaps an area that's a bit more risque. Oh, I'm so happy. A wonderful fiancé, a beautiful wedding gown, the perfect venue. It's every little girl's fantasy. Now, let's wheel you inside the furnace. All set. And now I've set the temperature a bit lower than normal. I know. I'm a sentimental fool, but I want you to feel the licking flames of my affection for as long as possible before you lose consciousness. Mwah. I'll see you soon, my beloved. Try not to get cold feet.